Kubernetes is one of the most popular open source projects today. On GitHub, it has over 80,000 stars, 2,500 contributors, 150,000 commits, 83,000 pull requests, over 1 million contributions as of this recording. As you probably already know, Kubernetes is a platform that helps orchestrate container-based applications. Big companies like Google, Microsoft, and AWS have all been using Kubernetes and providing hosting solutions for Kubernetes and have been the biggest contributors to the Kubernetes project. So back in 2014, Google developed the Kubernetes project to help make it easier to manage containerized applications across lots of different hosts. The idea was to automate and scale distributed systems, so the first commit to the repo was made on June 6, 2014, and in 2016, Kubernetes joined the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, or CNCF. This just made it even more popular as a really important platform for container orchestration. When Kubernetes first started, there were only a few developers working on it. But as time went on and people began to see the value in the project, more and more developers started contributing to it. With 20 developers working on it in the early days, Kubernetes reached 400 active developers after joining CNCF. And today, the Kubernetes community is thriving with over 3,000 contributors. The growth in contributors has been consistent over time, as shown by the chart published by the CNCF report on Kubernetes that demonstrate how the number of contributors to the Kubernetes project has increased over the past few years. Managing a large-scale project like Kubernetes requires careful planning and execution to ensure success. Imagine building a massive skyscraper in the heart of a bustling city. You need to manage everything from construction workers to the supply chain, equipment, and safety regulations. If every worker tried to oversee every aspect of the project, it would quickly become chaotic and mistakes would be made. Similarly, managing the Kubernetes project with its vast scope and scale requires a similar level of management. There's the architecture to work with, the security, the API and CLI, auto-scaling, integrations with different cloud providers. You need someone to just manage all documentation, and then there is networking, storage, and many more. This is where project management comes in. For typical projects, it is essential to have a system in place that manages everything from feature development to bug fixing to testing and release cycles. But managing such a large project can be challenging. There are simply too many areas to manage effectively without a robust system in place, especially considering the fact that it's an open source project and that there is no single organization or entity responsible for funding and overseeing the project end to end. So how is such a large open source project with thousands of contributors working together? This is where the Kubernetes community governance model comes in. At the top, you have the Kubernetes Steering Committee, which is a group of individuals responsible for overseeing the overall direction of the Kubernetes project. The committee is made up of a diverse group of contributors who are chosen based on their contributions to the Kubernetes community, as well as their expertise in various areas of the project. The Kubernetes Steering Committee is responsible for making decisions on issues that affect the project as a whole, such as getting priorities for new features and enhancements, resolving conflicts between different parts of the project, and defining the overall architecture of the system. It is this steering committee that provides guidance to working groups and SIGs, or known as special interest groups, within the Kubernetes community, which we will discuss in a few minutes. As of this recording, the members of the steering committee are Benjamin Elder from Google, Christoph Blecker from Red Hat, Carlos Tadu Panato Jr. from ChainGuard Inc., Stephen Augustus from Cisco, Bob Killen from Google, Nabarun Pal from VMware, and Tim Pepper from VMware. And then we have working groups and special interest groups, or SIGs. Now, working groups in the Kubernetes community are like teams that come together to work on specific issues. They're helpful when a problem requires input from people with different expertise and when it cuts across different areas of the project, such as across different SIGs. And that brings us to the topic of this video: Kubernetes Special Interest Groups, called SIGs. SIGs are groups of contributors within the Kubernetes community who are responsible for managing specific areas of the project. For example, just as you would have a team of architects who specialize in designing the structure of a skyscraper, Kubernetes SIG has a SIG for architecture that maintains and evolves the design principles of Kubernetes and provides a consistent body of expertise necessary to ensure architectural consistency over time. So having SIGs ensure that teams can focus on specific areas of the project rather than trying to oversee everything at once. This allows for more streamlined development and a faster pace of innovation. Additionally, SIGs help in ensuring that the project remains organized and that different teams are not stepping on each other's toes. So here are some of the key tasks that SIGs typically undertake. Number one, code development. So SIGs may work on developing new features, fixing bugs, and enhancing the code base of Kubernetes. And number two, testing and validation. So SIGs are responsible for overseeing testing and validating the functionality of Kubernetes releases, ensuring that they meet the community quality standards. Documentation. So SIGs work on developing and maintaining the documentation for Kubernetes, including user guides, reference materials, and API documentation. For community outreach and education, so SIGs organize and participate in community events such as meetups, webinars, and conferences to educate users about Kubernetes and to promote community engagement. Release management. So SIGs are responsible for managing the release process for Kubernetes, including coordinating feature development, bug fixes, and documentation updates. SIGs also provide guidance and leadership on the architecture and design of Kubernetes, ensuring that it remains scalable, reliable, and maintainable. So now that you have a group of people under a SIG looking after a specific area, how do they collaborate and go about getting things done? SIGs collaborate in an open and inclusive manner. The discussions and meetings of these SIG groups are open to anyone who wants to participate. They are typically conducted online using video conference tools and chat rooms. And some of the other commonly used communication channels are mailing lists or Slack groups and Slack channels, GitHub issues, and pull requests. SIG members hold regular meetings which are open to the public and announced on the Kubernetes community calendar. So during these meetings, they discuss ongoing work, review proposals, and make decisions about the future direction of Kubernetes development. SIG meetings are often recorded and made available online for later viewing. We'll add a link here for you to view a few of some of the previous SIG meetings that are available on YouTube. SIGs collaborate on technical specifications and design proposals using the Kubernetes Enhancement Proposal Process, or KEPs. So KEPs are used to propose changes to the Kubernetes project and to gather feedback and consensus from the community. We had recently released a video specifically on how the KEP process works, so check it out here using the link given here if you haven't watched it already. Now, SIG members can review and provide feedback on KEPs via GitHub and the Kubernetes mailing list and through the SIG meetings that are held. Now, each SIG has its own focus and is led by a chair or co-chairs who help facilitate discussions and make decisions. You can see a list of SIGs and their co-chairs, a link to the Slack channel, mailing list, and meetings on this page. Let's look at a few of them. Now, SIG architecture is responsible for the overall architecture of the Kubernetes platform, including the defining the API and ensuring that it remains consistent across all components. Now, as of this recording, this SIG is chaired by Derek Carr from Red Hat, Davanam Srinivas or DIMS from AWS, and John Bellamaric from Google. Now, SIG cluster lifecycle is responsible for the creation, management, and upgrading of Kubernetes clusters, ensuring that they're reliable and easy to use. And this is chaired by Justin Santa Barbara from Google and Vince Brignano from Red Hat. SIG storage is responsible for Kubernetes storage management, including defining the API and ensuring that it remains consistent across all storage providers, and is chaired by Saad Ali from Google, Jing Yang from VMware. SIG network, for example, is responsible for the networking functionality of Kubernetes, including defining the API and ensuring that it remains consistent across all network providers, and is chaired by Michael Zappa from Microsoft, Shane from Kong, and Tim Hockin from Google. So how do they elect SIGs, and what is the process behind it? The process of electing Kubernetes SIGs begins with a proposal from a community member for the formation of a new SIG or the addition of new members to an existing SIG. Now, this proposal is then reviewed by the Kubernetes Steering Committee, which we have talked about in the beginning, and they're responsible for overseeing the Kubernetes project's overall direction and governance. So the Kubernetes Steering Committee evaluates the proposal and determines whether it aligns with the community's goals and priorities. And if the proposal is approved, the new SIG is formed or the new members are added to the existing SIG. Now, the SIG is then responsible for electing its own leaders and defining its own governance structure. The election of SIG leaders typically involves a nomination process followed by an election in which SIG members vote for their preferred candidates. The specific details of the election process may vary depending on the individual SIG and the specific needs of the community. And once the SIG leaders are elected, they are responsible for overseeing the SIG's work and ensuring that it contributes effectively to the Kubernetes project. That's all for this video. I hope you got a good understanding of what SIGs are and how they work. The Kubernetes community is a very open and welcoming community that values community over product or company and values inclusive better than exclusive. So everyone is encouraged to get involved and contribute. Now, some of the ways that you can get involved are, number one, to join the community by joining the Kubernetes Slack channel and mailing list. Learn the basics of Kubernetes to familiarize yourself with the technology because you need some knowledge to get involved. Find a SIG or working group of your interest and start by attending the SIG meetings as a listener and learning how it's run. Well, attend some of the community events such as meetups, webinars, and conferences. Start small by picking up small tasks that requires an owner. We'll review the list of issues and feature requests that are listed in the GitHub page and see if there are small things that you can pick up on. And once you are finally confident, contribute code to the Kubernetes project. Well, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and comment. And please do subscribe to our channel because we release new videos every week. Thank you so much for your time. Until next time, goodbye.